Okay. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole. I'm a person in recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. Why don't y'all come on in and I'm going to tell y'all a story time today. Okay? Go get yourself a snack if you like to drink coffee or something like that, an iced coffee with some whipped cream on top, or an ice cream cone or some popcorn with a Mountain Dew. Get your snacks, okay? Get your snacks because this is going to be a little bit of a doozy, okay? We're going to give everybody just a few minutes to get here because we had about 30 something people on the last live, and I don't want them to miss out on the story. I will tell you this. These stories are not to glorify my addiction. If anything, I hope that these stories scare the living shit out of you. And I hope it makes you never want to get high ever again, or ever in the first place. So just let me say that. Also, trigger warning. If you cannot handle somebody talking about drugs, drug use, the utensils used to do drugs, the feeling that they give you, anything like that, this might not be the story time for you. You might want to come back like when we're doing a recovery video, which we do at 7:30, and we talk all about addiction and recovery. And tonight we're going to talk about relapse prevention because that's what Pauline wants to talk about. So yeah, just know that you can always come back and we're not going to be mad at you, okay? My email address is Nicole, Nicole, at social, SOCIALTTY, pro.com. SocialTPro. So, I should get a stand to hold my damn phone so that way I don't have to hold it. Here, I'll do this. And if you can hear my dog, he's licking his crotch, so please disregard that. Okay? Okay, so this was way back in the day before I met my husband, okay? I had just relapsed. I was living in a sober living house. I had just gotten out of prison in 2010. And at this time, I was living in a sober living house and had just gotten kicked out because I relapsed on Roxy's. And so here in Little Rock, I had just gotten a really good job when I got out of prison, and I was working for Kroger as an assistant deli manager. So I was making good money. I've always gotten good jobs. I've always made good money whenever I was in my addiction. I don't know what it was. I do know what it was. I've been blessed with the gift of gab. I can talk to anybody. So that's how I make money. So that's what I did. I managed the deli at Kroger. Well, I don't know. Where was I at? I was hanging out with my friend Gerald. But before I went to Gerald's house, I had been over at my friend Tara's house. I went over to her house because, I was going to get high, and me and her would shoot meth together. We would smoke crack together. We did everything together. I lived with her for like a year, almost 2 years, a long time. Well, I had went over to her house, and I told this story to you guys before. I had been hallucinating. I had stayed up for like 4 or 5 days, and I went to her house, and when I got there, I was looking on the floor. I was just standing there, and I can remember it, looking on the floor, and all I could see was these little blue pills, and I thought that there was Roxy's on the floor, like multiple pills. And so, me being the fiend that I am, I get down on the ground and I'm picking up what I think are these pills and putting them in the spoon and mixing up this concoction of probably cat litter, fucking cat hair, lint, dirt, who knows what else was in that shit. And I shot it up. Okay. I got so sick. I was running like 103 fever. Like it was so bad. But I was hallucinating so badly that I thought that the federal government was like in a helicopter above her house, like staking us out. When I tell you guys, I was sitting on the couch looking at the TV and the news was on, and the news was talking about our house, and there was a helicopter on the news flying above our house. And I'm like, holy shit, do you see that shit? We're on the news. Da, 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 da. And Tara's like, no, we're not, Nicole. You're just tripping, Nicole. You need to go to bed, Nicole. Because she had dealt with me many times being like this. And so I got spooked and I left. I left the house. I walked out the front door. My car's sitting there in the parking lot. I walk right past my car and I'm like out in the middle of the road, just like fucking, like I told you guys, flailing around, looking like some of those people that you see on TV or on the videos here on TikTok, that the people in Kensington. Like, I'm just like out there looking like a zombie, right? So the next door neighbor is like 911, and the police pull up right behind me and they're like, ma'am, are you okay? And they can tell that I'm not okay. So they call the ambulance, right? An ambulance just shows up and picks me up. And y'all, I'm telling you something right now. I wish I had never gotten those motherfucking ambulances. Because when I tell you, they're still taking my fucking state checks every year, my income tax checks, because of the damn medical bills that I owe from riding in these damn ambulances when I was high as a motherfucker. And so I got my high ass in the fucking ambulance and they took me down the street to St. Vincent's here in Little Rock. And I was there for probably like 4 hours, maybe even 6 hours, right? It was a long, long time that they just had me waiting in the waiting room, okay? And I mean, I'm loud. Like, I'm loud to the point where I'm looking and they have glass windows in the waiting room. And I see somebody I know on the other side of the glass window. They're not really there, but I think they are. And I'm yelling at them and banging on the window like I'm just causing a scene. They finally bring me back to the room that I'm going to be in, and they're asking me, like, do I want to go to, they're trying to get me to go to treatment. They're trying to get me to sign something, and they're going to push me to some treatment center like RCA or something like that. And I'm not going to sign shit. Like, I don't even want to be there, and so I'm pissed. And I was like, what are they trying to do? I was hallucinating so bad while I was there, but then I was like understanding part of what they were saying. Then I was seeing my friend like rolling around in this garbage can. When I tell you guys, this is the craziest shit. Nicole at socialtpro.com. This is the craziest stuff. I was hallucinating that my friend Joe, he is completely bald headed. He has tattoos down his right arm and he has a fake leg. And I was literally hallucinating that he was inside of a garbage can, like fucking Cookie Monster, and the top was on the garbage can, and he kept popping up with a garbage can lid on his head, and he was rolling back and forth from side to side in the emergency room, and I was just sitting there laughing and talking to him and thinking, why is he here? Why is he here? Well, I got tired of being there, so I left AMA. I just walked out. I was like, fuck y'all, I'm out of here. And I had no shoes on. I had boxers on and a t-shirt. And I went walking down I always say Malvern, Markham Avenue. And it was like 2 a.m. And I'm walking down the street and I'm scared. Like, I am so scared. I think that every person that passes by is like screaming at me, trying to get me to have sex with them. I think that they're all trying to get me to be their prostitute. And so I go off into the woods and then I jump back onto the sidewalk with this big ass stick I found in the woods. And every car that drives by, like, I'm lunging at it and like trying to hit it with this stick, right? It's so fucking bad, you guys. I don't know how the police didn't arrest me. I don't know how I didn't get hit by a car. I don't know how some guys didn't see me and take me and like throw me in their trunk or something. So I was walking down the road. I walked all the way down to Kroger, which is like at least a mile or two. And it was my job, my Kroger that I worked at. And I walk upstairs and it's a 24-hour Kroger. And I call my old sponsor, Robin. I'm like, you have to come get me. Like, I'm not in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing well. And so her and her husband come and get me. And they're like, holy shit, like, she skis the fuck out. And I told them where my car was at and everything. And so Robin took her husband and dropped him off with my car. And he got my car and my phone and everything. And they brought me back to their house. I'm like, I'm just going to go try to lay down because I'm like kind of coming in and out of like reality and then hallucinations. And so I'm like, I'm just going to go lay down. And I go lay down, right? It's probably like not even 4 hours of sleep. And I pop right back up in the morning time, ready to go on round 2. And I take off. I jump in my car and I take off and I go to Gerald's house. I get over to Gerald's house and I'm telling him, all the extravaganzas that I had just went through the night before at the emergency room and then walking around and doing all this, that, and the third. And he doesn't give a fuck. This is literally like a trailer where everybody would just go and shoot up. Like, it was disgusting. There was syringes everywhere. Like, I don't mean like on the floor. I mean like on the entertainment center, there's a red Solo cup with just syringes sticking all out of it. You could just go pick one, right? Because all of us did not care if we caught any diseases from each other. We were just like, didn't care. We were just strung out. And so there was, Solo cups with fucking rigs in them. There was fucking blood shot on the walls from people like, clogging up their rig and having to try and get the blood out of it and then wasting a whole shot and fucking being pissed off, just crazy shit like that, y'all. And so I'm like going over there to shoot Roxy's because I think I had just gotten paid on Thursday and it was like a Thursday night or something like that. And I had just gotten paid. So I had money to buy all these Roxy's with. So I remember giving my keys to this guy to go get a bunch of them for us. And he comes back finally, like an hour later. I was straight tripping, dude. I was like, he stole my car. He stole my car and he sold it for crack because that's happened to me before. And I actually got my car back. I'll tell y'all that story one time. I'll tell y'all that story another time. But he comes back and he has all these Roxy's. And so we're just chilling in the back bedroom, like banging Roxy's, just like it's totally normal, just all out in the open. Like nobody goes to the bathroom. We're all just like fixing up in front of each other and we don't care. And so I'm sitting there and I'm still tweaking from the meth. And so Roxy's, I think, will help me go to sleep. They didn't help me sleep for shit. I was so fucked up tweaking, y'all. I sat in the recliner of Gerald's house for like probably 6 hours and I was staring at the vent in the ceiling of his trailer. And I've told this story so many times here, but every time I tell it, it's so funny because it's the fucking truth. I'm sitting in that fucking recliner and I'm looking at the vent. And the reason why I'm looking at the vent is because Cy from Duck Dynasty was literally in the vent and he kept poking his head out and then pulling it back in and then poking his head out. And he has long ass beard and he had this like crazed look in his eye, and he just kept poking his head out, poking it back in. And for some reason I had caught myself into this mindset that I was on some kind of platform on that recliner and that there was a string and he was going to cut that string and I was going to go like this out of the top of the trailer. And so I was sitting there watching him, kind of getting myself braced, ready for him to cut the string and catapult me out of the trailer, right? For 6 hours. I was so tense, you guys, that my arms and my legs were cramping up because I had been like this the whole time. Okay? I don't even know why. Right now, when I'm telling you the story, like, it doesn't sound fun at all. So I don't understand why I kept doing that shit. Because that's what would happen every time I shot meth. I would get stuck. I would be twacked out of my mind. I would be like just out of there, like fucking timber, like bad. And so he never cut the line and I never went flying through the ceiling. And I eventually just got myself up and I was pumping myself up to get out of that recliner because I was scared. I was scared. I was scared if I got down, he was going to get me. Like I was literally afraid. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I was pumping myself up in my mind, like there's nobody there. You got to get up. Nicole, come on. And I've done this so many other times to where I thought people were underneath, like across. I'm in an apartment. And there's this much, you can see this much room underneath the door. And on the other side of the door, I just know there's the police. I know they're right there and they got their thing and they're about to go boom, 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 and come through, right? And so I'm sitting there and I'm pumping myself up to get up. And I finally get up and I go in the living room and I'm like, Gerald, please help me, man. I need to go to sleep. Like, I'm tripping. Okay. I'm really not in a good way. And so he pulls out 100 milligrams Seroquel. And he throws it to me, right? Here, take this 100 milligrams Seroquel. And so I took it and I went and laid down with these two gay guys that live there. And I got right in the middle of them. And I was like, please don't let me get up. I will just start wandering around, right? They didn't fucking help me do shit. I got up like 10 minutes later and I took off out the door in a hallucination, thinking I had to go to work I have a perfectly good car parked out front, keys and everything, leave it there. I had my phone. I took it with me out the door, but I ended up getting it taken away by the cop that finally found me. So I'm walking outside and I'm on Baseline Road, which is like the straight up hood in Southwest Little Rock. And I'm walking up and down the road and I'm thinking that my boss is across the street, Miss Brewer, and I'm calling out to her and just crazy shit. And then all of a sudden in the distance, I see this lady's porch, right? State time. I see this lady's porch and I'm like, oh my God. And I blink my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And on this lady's porch is like a pile of weed brownies. Do not ask me why. It's just like a pile of brownies, right? That I'm seeing on this lady's porch. We're in a trailer park. And so I walk over there and I'm like sweeping it off and knocking it off with sticks and trying to get it all, off her porch, because I think if I don't, she's going to get arrested. She sticks her head out the window and calls the police on me. And so the police show up and I'm dipping and dodging. Like, this dude, I swear he just pulled his gun on me, like I'm scared. And he's like, what is going on? And so he motions for me to come over to him. And I'm still kind of like afraid he's going to shoot me, And I walk over to him and I guess I don't even know if I said things to him. He took my phone and called my mom. And he was like, what do I do with your daughter? She's like, there's something going on, right? She's not in a good way. She's like on something's going on. And my mom's like, please take her to the emergency room. She's a drug addict and she's not sober. She needs help. And so he calls another ambulance. Okay. So this is 2 ambulance rides I've been in. And so this ambulance comes and gets me and I get in the car with them and I am so afraid of this ambulance driver. I don't know why, but I looked at him and I had it in my mind that he was going to shoot me up with cocaine and try to kill me on the way to this fucking ER. So I am like fighting them the whole way there in the back of the ER, right? I'm surprised they didn't try to sedate me, but they tried later on. So I get to the ER and they put me in a room like right away. And the doctor and a nurse comes in there and they're like, what did you do? And they keep on asking me if I did bath salts. And I'm telling them everything I did, but I'm like, no, I didn't do bath salts. And so they decide that they're going to give me this shot of Halidol and a shot of Thorazine. I done got some fucking shit like that in my system. I've been up for days and I'm already on a fucking Seroquel, fucking sleeping pill / antipsychotic. And now they're just adding fucking Thorazine and Haldol. Like, they're trying to fucking put me out, like manually put me out chemically. Right. And so they give me the first round and it don't do shit. I'm walking around. I'm fucking licking the walls in the emergency room. I'm looking underneath the door and like this because I think that Miss Frida, this lady I worked with at Kroger, I think she's on the other side of the door smoking a crack pipe and blowing the fucking crack smoke to me. So I'm at the door going like this, trying to hit the crack smoke. So the nurse comes back in there like 15 minutes later and they are like getting me over on the bed. And that's when they give me another round of this Thorazine and Halidol. And the next thing I know, everything went black. And I don't remember shit after that because I went into a fucking coma for 7 days. I went into a coma. And they called my parents and they said, your daughter's in a coma. Her internal organs are shutting down and we don't know if she's going to make it. You need to come up here. And so my parents drove up from Hot Springs, which is like a 45-minute drive. And my mom and dad walked in the room and my mom was like, your hair was matted. You had bruises all over your arms, like track marks all over your arms and legs. And they didn't even clean you up. You just looked horrible. And my dad was freaking the fuck out, like totally broke down, worried about me and just devastated. They were devastated. And so my mom stayed with me the whole time. I think my dad had to go to work, but my mom stayed with me the whole time I was in there. And it was like a Friday, I think, when I finally woke up. And I woke up and my mom is the first person I saw. And then my sponsor, Robin, the lady that took me to her house. And my mom's like, do you know how long you've been here? And I was like, no. And that's when she told me I had been there for like a week and that I had went into a coma and that my organs were shutting down. and they didn't know if I was going to come back to life, you know? And I was just, the thing that really struck me, and I still think about it to this day, is all I could think about was like, oh, well, I need to go get high. Like, I need to get out of here, you know? What's up, baby?
I need to show you something. Look what I made at school. Everybody
Really?
made this, but look.
You made that?
Yeah.
I love it. What is this snow? Is it a snow?
No.
What is it?
Pretend that this is a spider and this is its web and this is a parachute.
I love that.
And watch. Now watch.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's cool. So, okay, mister. So all I could think about was like how I needed to get out of there and go back to doing what I was doing, because I was just like miserable in my own skin.
Mom,
I didn't want to be alive.
Do you think
you know
the
what I mean?
parachute should be like this?
I think it should be like this. Hold on, let me show you. Like that.
That did not work.
That didn't work. I just wanted to be out of there because I didn't like myself. I didn't like being in my own skin. I had gotten so accustomed to abusing drugs. Like, it was just it was like what I did. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to live my life any other way. And so I was just, this is before you were ever born, Nate, just so you know. I just didn't know how to live my life. I didn't know how to be happy with just being myself. I didn't know how to be like not on drugs. You know what I mean?
Why is it floating down faster?
I don't know, baby. I was just miserable. And so I got up and my mom took me to my friend Gerald's house where my car was and my phone was. And I got all that shit. Now, what I did do... What I did do was I decided to go back to Hot Springs with my parents. And that's when I went to treatment. So I went to treatment after that, which was like my 4th or 5th time in treatment. I went there, stayed 30 days, came out and relapsed. You know what I'm saying? And I was back at it again.
Could you show them?
Yeah, and then, go ahead, Nate, show them.
Well, tell them what it is.
That is a parachute with a spider.
Well, pretend that it's a spider. It's
go ahead.
Just a piece of cardboard.
Right. Oh, it's a little parachute. And so I came out and I went right back to what I was doing, the same thing. It wasn't until Nathaniel was born that I actually got my life together and finally changed and got sober. Because I didn't have anything to live for before that, or at least I didn't feel like I did, you know? And I think that's how a lot of people that have addiction feel. They don't feel like they have any reason to live, you know what I mean? And I didn't love myself. And my son... I know I can't be high trying to take care of this dude. He would have me running and gunning everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
He would wear me out. I wouldn't be able to handle it. If you guys think drugs kick your ass, try having a 7-year-old boy. He will literally wear you out, honey. Keeps me on my toes. So I got to stay in my right mind so that way I can take care of him, because he's slick. He knows how to spend money on our credit card.
Yeah.
So he'll buy his own fucking V-Bucks and his own Fortnite skins.
I could buy a $79.
I have to keep an eye on him at all times. But he saved my son has saved my life.
Oh, wait. I have a good idea. Should I tape it? Like, should I tape the guy onto the parachute?
Yeah, that might be a good idea. After he was born, I stayed sober for like 90 days, and then I relapsed. And that's whenever I got sober, when he got taken away from me, actually, just so y'all know. I was not sober during his first year of his life. But I'm thankful.
Wait, is this good? Do you think this will float more?
I do. I'm thankful that he was young and that he doesn't remember any of it at all.
I don't remember like a single part.
You know, I'm very grateful that he does not remember being away from us. Now, I do think that it affected him psychologically, because he does have issues with mama not showing up on time at the school. He will literally freak out if he does not see me, huh?
I'll cry.
Why do you do that? Is it because you think I'm going to leave you?
I don't know.
Have I ever forgotten you?
No.
Never. Have I ever left you somewhere? Okay. but he thinks that mom's not gonna come back for him or something. And I always tell him, I'm like, you are my precious cargo. I can never forget precious cargo. You're like, I'm carrying a diamond in my car. I have to go back and make sure I pick you up because you're worth a lot. You know, I can't be losing you. So he was one when he went to foster care.
What's foster care?
Foster care is when you stay with another family.
Wait, so I wouldn't be with.
You weren't with me, You stayed with another family for about 10 months.
This is liquid.
I know. Throw it away. Put the lid on it. Throw it away. He was with another family, but they were a really, really, really good family. Me and my husband were so grateful because they were kind. They were young. There
was a hair in it.
Put the lid on it and then put it in the trash can. And go wash your hands, son. I'm sure it was a mama hair. And I'm very honest with my son. I don't hide any of this from him because I'd rather him know the truth and know that I went and got better so that way I could be his mom, than him hearing about it from somebody else, He went into foster care, and the reason he went into foster care is because the state of Arkansas would not allow us to place him with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. For some reason, the state of Arkansas said my mother and father-in-law were too old. Which was baffling when they said this, because y'all just don't understand. My mother and father-in-law are more active than my parents, who are way younger than them. My mother and father-in-law would go bowling every Tuesday night. They would go to eat and have drinks with their friends on the weekends.
That's so cool.
They were out like every night having a good time. You know what I mean?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I know you don't. And so they wouldn't let Nate go with them for some reason, and so he had to go into a foster home. Now
What do you mean who wouldn't let?
The state of Arkansas wouldn't let you go with Gigi, so we had to let you go with a foster family, which the foster family, like I said, was amazing. They had a little girl that they were fostering who was like 2 years older than Nathaniel. And
how old? Wait, then I was 1?
You are 1 year old. Yeah, one. That's it. And she
was 3.
Yes, they got him involved in some kind of pre-K stuff because she worked at a preschool. So Nate got to go to school every day with her, and he was. Wait. Do you remember? You remember that school, don't you? You always talk about remembering a school when we drive out to Benton, going towards Nana's house. And I know you probably have flashbacks of it, don't you?
Was it the one where we get to go to sleep, or was it one with all the toys and stuff?
It had toys and you got to sleep. You had a diaper on still when you went to this place, so I don't think you remember.
Was it the one where I had that one? Remember the one kid that I had a friend in pre-K?
Yeah, Emery. What was her name?
No.
That came over to our house and y'all would hang out. You don't remember?
Who are you talking?
Anyway, he doesn't remember, but
no, nobody ever came to our house except Vash and Brooks.
Okay, Nate, they took him and did put him in a home that was like 30 minutes from us, so we had to drive out there to see him on visitations.
Were you crying your eyes out?
I cried my eyes out so much that whenever you first saw me for the first time, you didn't want to come to me. You only wanted to go to your dad. And they kept telling me...
Is that why I love my dad so much?
I think so. They kept telling me why... they kept telling me, stop crying. He can feel the tension. He can feel that you're upset. Because I was so upset.
Watch.
Because I felt like he didn't remember me. And he hadn't been away from me for like 2 weeks.
Show them. Tell me when the ragdoll, but show them.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead, ragdoll. Oh, be careful now. And so he, sorry guys. I felt like he couldn't remember me because when we first seen him for the first time, me and my husband together, he went to my husband. He wouldn't come to me, and I could not stop crying. I was just bawling my eyes out because I was so upset. And I don't think that CPS has ever had a woman has that cried as much as I did and was as remorseful for what I had done than me, because I was just like begging for forgiveness. I was so gung-ho. I was like, there's no way I'm going to let the state of Arkansas keep my wonderful, beautiful son. Because when Nathaniel was born and I put my eyes on him for the first time, and his little head was perfectly round. It wasn't cone-shaped like most babies.
It popped out right
He was perfectly... Right out. He was perfectly round little head, beautiful green eyes, dark hair, but then it fell out and turned to like a light blondish, reddish color. And then that went away, and now he has dark brown hair. But I remember the first time I put my eyes on him, I was like, oh my God, I'm a mom. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought I would be a mom. I didn't think I could have children. And so when Nathaniel was born, it was like a miracle. You know, I was so happy. And I was so happy to be a mom. Even though I was under the influence and I was on drugs, I still was so fortunate, I knew, to have this baby, you know? And so I was so remorseful, and I did everything they told me to do. And I was a A1 student, you know, for CPS. I was such a good example of what you do when you get your child taken away, that after Nathaniel got returned to us, like a year and a half later, they asked me to come back and work for them and do parent partnering and partner with mothers that got their kids taken away. Yeah.
Was the school the one where like all the buildings were?
Yes.
Was it not the one where like they had the cool playground and stuff?
No, this one had all buildings, like so many different buildings. Yes.
It was that one.
Yes.
But I wasn't. You always pick me up.
Yeah, because we picked you up, because we would pick you up from there for visitation on the weekends. You got to come with us.
Then I don't remember.
You don't remember
being with a different family.
Family, you don't?
No.
It was because you're only one. You were still sleeping in a crib. That's how little you were.
Wait, how old were the other people there?
They were like 28, 29, and then they had a little 3-year-old girl in there. And they took good care of you.
No, not the kids. How old were they?
Just 3. The little girl.
I was the youngest one.
So, anyway, that's the story. That's what happened. That's how I hallucinated. I hallucinated because I was out of my mind, and now I'm sober, and that's all that matters, right? Right. Nate wants to show y'all one more thing. Go ahead, Bubba.
Tell me when you're showing. Is that what you're showing?
I'm showing you. Oh, be careful. Okay.
Tell me if this is what a ragdoll was.
Y'all watch this boy. Hey, Matt. Hey, Heather. Oh, wow. That was a good job. This is Nate's playroom. He's got his TV. He's got a couch in here. He's got all his clothes and stuff. And then the other room next to this has his bed in it. Hi, buddy.
That I don't sleep in.
That he doesn't sleep in, because one of the mistakes that I made when Nate was born was I did co-sleeping, or whatever it's called. He would sleep with me. And he has never gotten out of the habit of doing that. But I think when he gets a little bit, I think next year you'll probably want to sleep on your own, huh?
Oh, can I say something?
Because you're getting older.
You know why I also don't sleep in here?
Why?
I used to have bad dreams of that I was in a hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A hospital?
Yeah. In a crib.
You know why you had that dream?
Why?
Because whenever they took you from us, they put you in a respite home. And you were in a little crib by yourself. There was for like 14 days. They had nowhere to... The dream that you had?
Yeah.
6 years.
It was bad, though.
I know.
It was scary.
It is scary when you don't know where you're at. But now you're back with us, and you're healthy and happy, and you got a good life.
Because I sleep in there, and then I just woke up, and then I just go back in here.
We love you. It's okay.
That's why I never sleep.
I love you guys. I'll be back on at 7:30, okay?
Oh!
Bye.